Welcome to the part 3 of the Flow and Focus Masterclass, and today I'm going to show you 8 techniques for optimizing flow and focus. So let's dive right into it. So before I dive deeper into those techniques, you don't have to apply all of them at once, right? So you pick and choose between each of these, and you pick and choose based on what you like, what is relatable to you, and what could help you the most. So the technique number 1 is breathing. Right before you start working and you sit down, you take 25 to 30 breaths. The way you do these is each breath should be sharp 2 or 3 seconds inhale through the nose and a sharp 1 second exhale through the mouth. So on your last exhale, exhale all the air from your lungs and hold this for 15 to 30 seconds. This technique works because it increases your adrenaline in your system, causing you to be alert and more focused. So this will help you prime yourself before your flow work block. But also, by the time you finish holding your breath, you're also focused and calm. So it has both very good side effects. So you're ready to start your work block. Technique number 2 is to stare at a small point. Now, choose a small point around you. It could be somewhere in the near distance, could be right next to you, could be anything, even like a small point on a wall or anything that you have around, and stare at it for 1 to 2 minutes. Feel free to blink if you need to, that's absolutely okay, but try to focus visually on this small point or object near you. This technique helps you warm up your brain and also produces very essential neurochemicals in your brain that enhance focus and alertness and concentration. By using your visual focus before you start working on your main task, you're preparing your cognitive focus for deep work block and flow. Now, technique number 3 is desk setup. So if you really want to optimize your focus and get in the flow, you should place your monitor and laptop screen slightly above your eye level. When your screen is slightly above eye level, your eyes are looking up, and this triggers neurons which are associated with alertness and being awake, because if you look down, it signals to your body that you're falling asleep or that you're tired. But if you manage to lift your monitor up so your eyes are looking up, then all of a sudden you'll feel alert and focused. So obviously, if you're super tired or sleep deprived, this little technique of lifting your eyes and adjusting your monitor to your eye level won't really help you be focused or more alert. So that's why you need to make sure that you get enough high quality sleep each night. And another benefit of optimizing your desk setup is your posture, because if you have poor and bad posture and your neck and back hurts, then your output is going to suffer and it will be very difficult for you to focus, because you'll be in this pain and everything will just hurt, and you won't really get into the flow anyway. So make sure that you adjust your setup and make it efficient for you. Technique number 4 is to work in 90-minute blocks. Now, your flow blocks where you do your deep work should be around 90 minutes, minimum 60, maximum 120. So the sweet spot here is 90 minutes. This is largely because of your ultradian rhythms. Now, you may know about circadian rhythm, and I talk about a lot of them on my YouTube videos and in my content. And circadian rhythm is essentially your internal body clock, your 24-hour clock, and because of circadian rhythm, your body can determine what time of the day it is. So ultradian rhythm is when your nervous system goes from the state of low to high and back to low energy in 90-minute cycles. So at the end of this 90-minute cycle, there needs to be around 20-minute period of recovery where your body can go through that cycle again. Because if you don't recover properly, then it's going to be very difficult for you to go through that 90 cycle of deep focused work again. So the great thing about this ultradian rhythm is that you can actually train your body to get into these rhythms in certain times of the day. For example, you can just right now decide that you want to get into this rhythm and get focused for the next 90 minutes. Now, your ultradian rhythm is going to kick in, and you can train your body to do this the more you make these decisions throughout the day. Now, what you cannot influence or negotiate with is that after 90 minutes, you're going to notice a massive drop in your performance and focus. And this is because after 90 minutes, your body and your brain is depleted of the essential neurochemicals that contribute for you to focus and stay alert. And after those 90 minutes, they're all used up. So your body is depleted of these neurochemicals, and you usually start drifting off from the state of focus and performance. However, as mentioned earlier, there is a 20-minute recovery period after which you can re-enter the 90-minute flow cycle and enter the flow and focus state again. Now, this is only for maximum 4 hours a day, because after 4 hours of deep work and being in this flow, your brain is fried and you are depleted of all of those neurochemicals for the day. So it's going to be almost impossible for you to re-enter the deep flow. Ideally, you work for 90 minutes, take a 20-minute break, and repeat for a max of 4 hours per day. Now, this is enough time to get your most important task of the day done, your highest priority task, your needle-moving task of the day. You have enough time to get it done. And remember, every time you want to start a flow block, it will take you some time to get in the zone. As you know, we have the 3 stages of the flow cycle, so pre-flow, the flow, and after flow. And to get in the pre-flow state, it takes around 15 to 20, sometimes even 25 minutes of discomfort and getting your brain warming up for focus. So don't panic, just push through it. Now, technique number 5 is listening to 40 Hz binaural beats. One of the most common things to do during your work block is to listen to music, but not just any kind of music. Most people make the mistake of listening to music with lyrics, which usually distracts them. So the reason why this is a mistake is because we have evolved over thousands of years to hear and focus on different words and the language that we speak. And because of that, whenever we hear certain words, we pay attention to that. We immediately shift our focus from whatever we are doing to whatever someone is saying or someone we are listening. So that's primed inside of us, right? So that's something that we cannot really change. And in the world of growing your business and in today's age, focus is really important, especially when you try to focus in the flow. If you listen to music with no lyrics, then this wouldn't happen. You can listen to instrumental music, cinematic music, or binaural beats, 40 Hz, that works really well. So also from a scientific research perspective, 40 Hz binaural beats are great for focus. This frequency increases focus by increasing both dopamine and acetylcholine. There's also evidence showing that listening to 40 Hz binaural beats when you are feeling distracted or struggling to focus before you start working can actually help you get in the zone faster. So you can listen to 3 to 5 minutes before you actually start working, and it will help you get in the zone. So let's talk about technique number 6, caffeine. So caffeine increases your focus due to mainly increasing your dopamine, but also adrenaline system, as long as you do the dosage correctly. Too low caffeine won't do anything to you, but too high will cause you anxiety and panic attacks, as well as jitters. They will ruin your flow state. So the dosage level is based on the person to person. So one of the factors is your size, as well as the immunity that you have towards caffeine. However, a general range for caffeine dosage is around 100 to 400 milligrams. If you don't drink coffee regularly, then I don't really recommend you start with 400 milligrams of coffee and drink it at one go. You will have a horrible experience and a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, and it won't really help you focus. So if you're not used to drinking coffee or any type of caffeine, then start with 50 or 100 milligrams of caffeine, and you will see a great difference. And once you adapt, you can increase the dosage. Now, timing wise, you can either take your caffeine 20 minutes before your work block, or you can take it with your work block. So as you start your flow block, then you can sip on your coffee. If you're experiencing jitters and anxiety while you drink your coffee, then you can supplement with 100 to 300 milligrams of L-theanine to counteract it. L-theanine increases your serotonin levels and it helps you stay calm and relaxed. But not only that, but it also increases your dopamine levels, so it will help you get into the focus state too. Now, if you don't know how to use caffeine properly, it can also ruin your sleep, so you need to be smart about it. And with that said, you can use it as a tool, not something as you rely on or something that you need to, okay? It's a tool, so make sure that you shift your mindset around that. Now, if you feel like you have to drink coffee to get through the day, you have deeper issues than that, you may be struggling with sleep, your nutrition, your movement, so you need to look at those areas first because you don't want to be dependent on caffeine. So there are 2 rules to stick with when it comes to drinking coffee and consuming caffeine in general. So rule number 1 is don't consume any caffeine the first 90 minutes of being awake. And this prevents any afternoon crashes that you might experience. And this is how it essentially works in your body. So when you wake up, your body has a chemical called adenosine. And this chemical makes you feel tired as well as sleepy. And when you postpone your caffeine intake, you help your body naturally clear up that adenosine from your system. So when you drink your caffeine, you can actually feel the kick of the energy, and you will also prevent afternoon crashes. Rule number 2 is to drink your last cup of coffee 6 to 10 hours before your bedtime to ensure that there is no caffeine left in your system, because that will negatively impact your sleep. Okay, technique number 7 is intermittent fasting as well as your blood sugar levels. Now, the main psychological mechanism affecting the stability and general state of alertness during your workday is the regulation of your blood sugars. Now, constant spikes and crashes in your blood sugar are a significant factor in mood swings. Hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, in particular can cause anxiety, irritability, edginess, and usually precedes by significant drop in your performance and cognitive ability to think and make decisions. So you can really feel that your performance really dropped. Now, maintaining a constant level of blood sugar reduces hunger and helps achieve stable state of alertness throughout the day. And the effects of various foods on blood sugar levels have been described using the glycemic index. So it represents the change in your blood sugar caused by the food compared to a reference value, which is glucose solution. A diet with fairly low glycemic load and insulin index represents the preferred option for both health and mental alertness. Foods with high insulin index should be consumed after workout to replenish the glucose reserves in the muscles as well as in the liver, or also in the evening. So you can have most of your carbs in the evening so you don't have this crazy energy spikes while you try to work. So should you do intermittent fasting or not? So let's take a look at it. So intermittent fasting means that you're fasting for a significant proportion of the day, so 16 hours, and you're consuming the daily intake during the remaining eating window, so 8 hours. So intermittent fasting has been practiced by entrepreneurs for a long time. I used to do it for years. I skipped breakfast and I only ate lunch and dinner because I wanted to have mental clarity and focus. And my first meal was around 12 or 1 p.m. And it actually gave me mental clarity, energy, as well as focus and alertness that I needed for deep work and flow. However, after years of fasting, I discovered something completely different that goes against the grain of what everyone is saying on social media, and especially people that really preach intermittent fasting. I've done some research, so you can just pause this video, read through them, and go through, and I will show you based on different case studies and based on different research what these people did, you will actually see why intermittent fasting may not be the best solution for focus and energy. Now, there's just one side of it. Now, let's look at what is happening with your body when you restrict food. When you restrict food or skip a meal, you should tap into your liver stores to release glucose into your bloodstream to ensure your cells are getting enough energy. So when you restrict food and your liver doesn't have what it needs, then you release cortisol, which is stress hormone. Now, glucose is the preferred source of energy for your cells. Your liver and your muscles store the glucose and then release it into the bloodstream whenever the body needs it. So when you fast, this process changes, and after about 8 hours of fasting, the liver will use the last reserves of its glucose. So at this point, the body enters a state called glucogenesis and making the body's transition into the fast mode. Now, if you're not giving your body what it needs, it will reach out for the backup system. And the backup system is a system that essentially your body is eating its own issue. So that's not really productive, or that won't really give you any additional energy. And that's why muscle retention and building muscle while fasting, it's kind of impossible or very, very difficult because of what I just mentioned. So a lot of entrepreneurs, and I did too in the past, claim that they have more energy when they fast. Well, science shows that there is a difference between fake energy and raw energy, and you need to differentiate between both. So real energy comes from food, and that's why when you eat, you have energy, but the fake energy comes from cortisol. So if you claim that you have high energy while you fast, it's because your body is using the energy from your stress levels. My client was intermittent fasting for a long time, but after he noticed that he wasn't really feeling good and focused during his deep work, so we switched it up and he started to eat breakfast, and all of a sudden he feels even better, more focused, and actually has more energy. So if you physically cannot eat in the morning, or you want to balance between fasting and eating, so find this sweet spot, then I recommend you to try bulletproof coffee. Now you can try this recipe for the best bulletproof coffee that is out there that will give you maximum benefits. So you can just pause this video, go through it, and try it for yourself. I promise you that you're going to feel incredible when you drink this in the morning. I've been drinking bulletproof coffee for some time now at this point, a couple of years at this point. While you drink your bulletproof coffee, make sure that you stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, at least 3 liters per day, and also make sure that that water has minerals, because minerals are really important too. Alright, let's move on to the last technique, which is visualization. This technique will help you get into the pre-flow state, while also help you stay in the flow while you're already in the zone. Now, visualization is a powerful tool because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined, so you can use this as your superpower. Now, if it's really hard for you to sit down and do your work, then you can use visualization to experience the behavior before it even happens, so you can prime your brain. Now, here is how it works in practice. So here is a step-by-step guide. So before you sit down at your desk, sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Now, be in the moment, scan your body, and don't react to your thoughts. Visualize yourself struggling to get to work, struggling to start your flow block and do that activity that you're trying to avoiding, or the activity that you have planned in your calendar. Be as clear as possible. And visualize yourself getting to your desk, opening your laptop, and getting to work with ease and effortlessness. Visualize yourself conquering that struggle. That is really important, like a 2.0 version of yourself. And then feel those positive emotions of you conquering those negative feelings and that fear and discomfort. Like really feel how it would feel if you effortlessly manage to sit behind your desk and work on what you're supposed to work on. Really make sure that you spike those feelings, because the feeling is key. And once you do this process, you can open your eyes and take action. So this is how you prime your brain to do any activity that is new or uncomfortable with absolute ease. And this doesn't only apply to flow and focus. You can use this tool to get easily out of bed in the morning, or be consistent with your gym routine or eating healthy, whatever that might be. So visualization is mainly used for priming, but it also can be used to slay internal distractions and stop compulsive behavior, like different urges and impulses that you have throughout your working time. So whenever you have an urge or impulse to do something distracting during your work block, like for example, opening a new tab or going to YouTube, going on Instagram, you stop doing whatever you were doing, you close your eyes, you take a deep breath, and you observe that impulse. You don't react, you just observe like you would observe a cloud in sky, okay? You don't react, you don't try to act on anything, you don't judge it, you just observe it. You can even ask yourself, where is this coming from? Just observe. Don't try to judge, don't try to act. You don't have to really find an answer in that moment. That's not really the point. The point is to observe your thoughts instead of escaping or running away from them. So what's really going on with you? Do you have an impulse to go on social media because of what? You are stressed, you're distracted. Why? Ask yourself 5 times why, and you'll be able to get to the core issue of why you have this impulse in general. Because maybe you just feel stressed and you feel bored and you don't want to do this task. You don't want to write this piece of content, and you'd rather go on social media and relax, right, quote unquote, or just do something completely different to escape that discomfort. So by doing that, you will be able to find the root problem. And once you observe your thoughts, you will get a better understanding of what's going on with you. And that way you can react better. You can actually have more control over your reactions, over your impulses, over your thoughts. And that's the key in anything. And that's the key of succeeding in business and in life in general. You need to learn how to have control over your mind. Once you do that, the next step is to visualize yourself conquering that urge, conquering that impulse. See yourself really doing that. See yourself grabbing your phone, but not really going on Instagram, just putting it down. Okay, visualize yourself doing that. And the more you do it, just like when I talked about at the beginning, the easier it will be, and the more you train your brain to not grab your phone next time you have this impulse. Okay, so once you do that, and once you successfully conquered the impulse, then you can do it in a real time. Once you open your eyes, and you can take the right action, you can react in the proper way. So that's everything for the part 3 of the masterclass. I'll see you in the next one.